An entire world is ready
for you to start your career teaching the path to wellness.
Mastering the science of mindfulness.
And the art of coaching.
To help clients achieve mental, emotional, and physical betterment of life.
Through movement,
nutrition,
recovery, and regeneration.
Because impacting one person impacts a family.
Impacting a family impacts a community.
And impacting a community impacts the world.
Become an NASM certified wellness coach.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Random Fit. I am Wendy Batts, and here with my friend and colleague, Mr. Ken Miller. Ken, how are you today?
I'm awesome. Wendy, how are you?
Living a dream. You know what? I am so excited about today because today we're talking about gift giving. And I am not a huge shopper, but when it comes to my friends, my clients, anyone in the fitness industry or enthusiast, anyone that just loves to work out, like this is the episode you didn't want to miss, because we're going to talk about some of our favorite gifts that we have either given or received, and hopefully provide you guys with some ideas if you're stumped on what to get someone that loves to work out or loves to go to the gym and wants to do some stuff at home, or you just need some ideas of what to get people in general. So thanks for watching. Today is going to be fun.
And this is the time of year that, it is about family and friends and, enjoying the season. But I tell you what, one of the things as October, November comes around, I'm like, oh man, December, I really gotta think about what I'm going to do now, because you want to, it's opportunity to show your appreciation, especially as a personal trainer who has clients. You want to give something that supports their goals and what it is that you're trying to, do with them as far as enhancing their lives and their physicality and their mental and physical, social well-being when it comes to, the gifts to give. So, one of the things that's really easy to do is, when you think about technology and tech and equipment, those are some of the easy stuff. But what I'm hoping to cover today and get your insight on, Wendy, is, okay, what's some of the more budget-friendly things that we can do to show appreciation as well as support what we're trying to accomplish with health and wellness?
Yeah, I mean, every year people ask, do you get your clients something? And my answer is always yes. And I do. You don't have to, but you know what? I do, just for the same reason you said. Appreciation is everything. These clients come and see me multiple times a week, and they spend a pretty penny each and every time they come in. And so, when it comes to thinking about cost, especially when you're thinking about, if you're a trainer and you're trying to think about your clients, like how much should you spend? Or if you have a specific budget, you want to stay within that budget. But there are so many things out there that can be so beneficial in many, many ways that, to your point, Ken, it's going to help them with their journey. And it just shows that you're supporting them, even though, hopefully you're not pressuring them. So you want to make sure that they really want things. And not be like, here's a bunch of workout stuff, and the person hates to work out, and they're like, are you telling me something? We don't want that to happen.
Yeah. The last thing you want to do is hang something over their head. It's like, hey, remember that piece of equipment that I got you? How's it going? It's like, it's still in the box, actually, and it's already April. So, right. You also don't want to do something where if, just the easy, here you go, have fun with it. Because that can be a little awkward when you've given, because how many times have you received something, Wendy, that it's like, the thought was nice, but it's not really applicable.
You re-gift it, you mean?
Yeah. Well, I wasn't going to say that. Yeah. Yeah. Holiday 2022. Wait, I think I've seen that before.
That's right. That's just to make sure you don't re-gift it back to the person that gave it to you. That would be problem number one. And
White
those of you guys
for next year.
Those of you guys that are just listening, I have on what I thought was super cute. I don't know if you can see it, but it's a reindeer shirt. And Ken asked me if I was in my ugly sweater shirt. So apparently it isn't as cute as I thought it was. But if you can see me, I think you should enjoy the fact that I am in the spirit. Ken, holidays are here, and I'm all in. All in, 100%.
Well, apparently you are very all in, because it looks like
season, man.
It looks like a Dr. Seuss character in like The Grinch or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not seeing it.
You know what? Bah humbug.
Maybe it looks better in person.
I guess now it's time to dive in. So
All right.
let's talk about, we've done multiple podcasts when we started talking about some of our partners, and one of the highlights that we want to bring, I think, to the forefront first, this one is a little more expensive. So we're just going to start with this to say that, if you're looking for something for, someone that is a client that you want to spend a little bit more money on, maybe a spouse or a close friend or family member, Ken and I both are really into, Hyperice, Thera Body and Hyperice. They have a lot of the vibration percussion devices that are out there. And so what I've done for my clients this year is they have come up with a lot of newer things that they just launched. So instead of getting the commercial size or the bigger size, different types of things, such as the Viper, which is a foam roller that vibrates, they also have the Viper Go. And Ken, do you actually have one of those?
It's at my facility. So it's actually one of those.
It's a mini.
It's a smaller version of that, but it's very popular because now it's, instead of just being flat with grooves, it's actually contoured so that, like, if I were to do some rolling on my calf, my lower calf, especially around the Achilles, there's a groove in the middle that accommodates the structures of the Achilles, so I can actually just kind of roll slightly to the right and left and get both sides. So the Viper Go, being pretty cost efficient now, because it's a travel size version of what you just held up, Wendy. But if anything, I've had clients that like that, the Go versus the bigger Viper. One, because they've gifted it, right, already. They've invested in it, but also just how it's contoured and built around how the body is shaped. So that's been a very popular gift so far.
Yes, and I actually am gifting some of my clients some because they travel. And, one of the excuses they have is, oh, I'll foam roll when I'm at home, but I don't have anything that I can foam roll, or I don't take my foam roller with me because it's too big to pack. So now I'm limiting those excuses. Do you see where we're going with this, guys? We're trying to help you limit excuses. And so, the Viper Go, just to give you guys an idea, I think it's around $150. I mean, it vibrates. There's a lot of, as you guys have heard us say before, a lot of positive benefits with the vibration technology when you're trying to downregulate or inhibit a muscle that's overactive. But it also just feels good. And sometimes people enjoy using the ones with that vibrate because you don't have to spend as much time in those areas, because the vibration helps kind of speed up the process. Definitely. However, if you do not want to actually go through and use one of the more expensive foam rollers, there are a lot of cheaper versions. Or if someone's brand new to rolling, one of the softest rollers you can buy is the one that's white. So it's white, and so it's not as dense. And so it's more forgiving for those of you guys that say, oh, foam rolling is painful. You're probably starting with one that's a little bit harder. The harder an implement is and the smaller it is, the deeper it's going to go. And so if someone's brand new, they are really not into foam rolling, and it's mainly because it hurts, then maybe you can look into something along the lines of this. And these are very, very inexpensive. But Ken, I'm going to tell you, back in the day, when I didn't have a lot of money, I was getting into the industry, but I wanted to do something with my clients. What I ended up doing was I purchased the 3-foot foam roller. I took a bread knife to it and cut it into 3s. And I mean, one of these, guys, I looked it up. One of the white foam rollers itself, I think, it was like $10 to $20. And if you did that and cut it into 3s, you can think that's a pretty inexpensive gift that you can give to 3 of your clients to promote foam rolling and all the benefits that foam rolling can do. So just know you don't have to spend $150, but if you can go as cheap as 10 or $20. So there's and everything in between. And there are some that have PVC pipe that never break down and all that.
You have this one that's more of a pressed foam.
Yes.
So it's a great go between the white foam that you did, Wendy, and this one. This one's by our partners at Perform Better, right? And it's pretty firm, and it's not as collapsible. It's not as soft as the one that you did, because the one thing that sticks out about the one that you had, Wendy, I pulled one of those white ones out, and I had one of my football players
Mhm.
350-pound lineman, and I had him foam roll his calf. And the one time he did it, it
Yep.
actually, he actually dented it in, right? Which I used to throw those out if they were
Mhm.
deformed like that. But to your point, Wendy, if you're very sensitive to pain and tenderness, especially on the lateral thigh or areas that tend to get really tender, the lats sometimes when you're rolling, um, keeping and saving those softer foam rolls for those more tender areas are, it's still great to have that option, right? Versus
Mhm.
the firmer one, like you pointed out there with the Viper, or even this one right here. It gives a little bit, right? And then the one you have ultimately gives a lot. But it
Yes.
is accommodating, especially for that first time roller who is sensitive to tension.
And to that point, I mean, one thing to keep in mind, if you do purchase the white ones, and to what Ken just said, they break down very, very quickly. And so just realize that this isn't going to be a gift that keeps on giving. It'll be a gift that they can use for a while, but you're
Right.
going to have to make sure that,
Yeah.
you may have to replace it. However, if you're creative, one thing that you can do is when you notice that it breaks down, is you can cut it in half and make a half
Yeah.
foam roller. Mine wasn't cut in half. I purchased it this way.
Yeah.
However, it's a really good balance tool that we've talked about in the past. And so when we've, gone through and talked about balance training, you want to change up, the not just doing
Hmm.
things on the floor, but now you've got to work on really thinking about controlling your foot and ankle complex. It's really it's one of those things that I use all the time.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I have found it to be super beneficial, and a way that you can actually recycle some of these things that maybe you've purchased for yourself or for maybe a family member, and you want to start to do some things or have them do some things. I think a half foam roller is extremely important and a really good gift as well.
Yeah, when it comes to self-myofascial technique, I know this isn't a podcast on self-myofascial technique, although it is something as a personal trainer that we encourage our clients doing multiple times a day if they can, depending on their situation, right? But also, well, every day, right? Every day.
Mhm.
So it is something that we highly encourage as an industry to help with mobility, to help with performance. So it's going to have multiple facets in your life, whether you sit at a desk all day or you like to play golf on the weekends or you're a competitive athlete. So, we just want to say, we are going to eliminate those excuses of, okay, well, I didn't stretch, I didn't foam roll, or all this
Mhm.
stuff. So when it comes to gift giving, ultimately, we want our clients to receive something that they will use and not be tucked away, not be tucked away, in the closet and ready for that white elephant next year.
Yes. And yeah, and for those of you guys that are just joining us, Ken and I are talking about fitness gift giving ideas. And so far, we've covered different types of foam rolling or foam rollers that you can purchase in all different levels. Okay. Remember, all different levels. Start
Yeah.
easy, work your way up. Another really awesome tool, again, by our partners from Hyper, that I have an example. There are Theraguns from Therabody that are out there on the market as well. Both are fantastic products. I just don't have that handy. But one of the things that I really like, I use this a ton on myself. My husband uses it. My kid loves to play with it. But it's something called the Hypervolt. And this is the older model, and they're actually getting ready to get rid of this one. So there's still some for purchase at a cheaper rate. And so those of you guys that are thinking, you know what, I've always wanted one and I'm waiting, don't wait. Right now they have fantastic sales going on. And if you get online and you look, it's something that, again, you can roll around all over your body, with the exceptions, try to stay off the bones itself. And it feels amazing. It helps, same thing, kind of decrease some of the overactivity in muscles. It helps stimulate really good like blood flow. It feels really good. There's three different modes, I guess you could say, to this, different levels. So easy to faster on the percussion itself. And I love my Hypervolt. And Ken, I think you actually have one that's a little more of a professional, like a commercial
Yeah.
grade, if you will.
Yeah. So the higher, more powered version of what you just showed here, this is the Volt Plus, right? And now they've got the next generation that's out there, which I have it at my facility. I don't have it with me now, but this is the one I keep here by my desk, right? So this is a bigger motor and a bigger difference in the application. So the amount of travel of that applicator. So we'll get a little bit deeper. But the one that has been pretty popular from a couple standpoints is the Volt Go, right? Travels awesome. I put it in my backpack. I've got a trip this weekend on a plane. So this is TSA approved, right? And yeah, and it's cheaper, right? More budget friendly, and so it makes a great gift. Already I've got clients that have asked me about it as far as gifting it to their family and their friends. But again, it's one of those I recommend to my clients, and I've given some to my clients from the standpoint of, hey, if you're behind a computer, you're traveling a lot, it's very convenient. But then that leads into the next thing where, you know, how many times, Wendy, have you had somebody have given one of these tools and they bring it home and it's not them that actually gets it, it's their spouse or their significant other that's like, hey, you know, that thing that you gave me last Christmas, it was I tried to use it, but my wife or my husband has it now for them. So how do I, you know, how do I get another one? It's like, oh,
yes.
all right,
And I'll tell you, you know, one of my clients just received one for a Hanukkah gift, and she was telling me like it's fantastic, but she refuses to use a roller. So again, a lot of positives, and it's important to know your clients or your friends or your family, and then try to accommodate what you know they will or will not use. And so again, the Volts, they are a little more expensive. So if you're looking for something a little pricey, I just ordered one for my nephew, and really excited because I know it's something that he wants, mainly because he's seen Tom Brady use it. He's a huge Tom Brady fan. So, you know, it's one of those things that I'm really excited about because I know he's going to be extremely thrilled come Christmas Day for him. Yes.
Without a doubt.
Yes. All right. So now one of the other things that, I mean, just to kind of stay along before we move on to some different types of equipment itself is the spheres. So again, I'm showing a very 1.0 version of the first sphere that came out. This one again is by Hyper Ice, but Therabody has some, and there's some others that are out on the market. And again, this is because it's smaller and it's very hard. It's going to go deeper into trying to get muscles to release. But these are fantastic. I'm actually giving 2 of the brand new ones to my clients. And I'm actually also giving one to my cousin for Christmas because they're way like more cost effective for me, but I know it's going to be very beneficial for them. And I think, Ken, you actually have one that's even smaller. It's called the Mini, that's even cheaper, but again, serves such a unbelievable purpose if you actually can get them to use it.
Yeah. So this is the black version of what you just showed, Wendy, right here, the hypersphere. So this is the Sphere Mini. So I like to call this the little Death Star, right, for you Star Wars fans out there. So it like the Go and the Viper Go, this is the travel friendly version. So again, it's not as powered as the regular Sphere, but it's really convenient because it charges through a regular USB. And like I said, I put this in the side. I have a little side pocket on my backpack, and it fits right in there. So it travels really well. And sometimes, you know, if I'm on a plane, I'll actually sit on it, like, so put it right under my hamstring, and it's not loud, not louder than the airplane engine, right? So I can get some work done when it comes to getting my hamstrings, rolling it under my foot. It's not loud at all. And it's not going to, you know, shake up the chair that I'm sitting on and upset my neighbor next to me. So it, like I said, travels well because of its size. It's not loud, and as was what you mentioned earlier, Wendy, it's very cost effective. I think these go for $100 now compared to some of the other options that we've shown. It is cost effective as far as electronic equipment goes.
Absolutely. And I'm Wendy Batts here with Ken Miller, and we're talking about fit, fitness gift giving ideas, and we've talked a lot about rollers, a lot about some, like the half foam rollers for some balance ideas. But one thing that again, when you're thinking about if you've got a newer client, or you're wanting to do something special for your neighbor, maybe that's getting into fitness, or you're trying to figure out what's a good gift that is fairly inexpensive, but one they're going to appreciate. One of the things that I strongly suggest are bands. And there are so many different types of bands. And I know Ken and I are going to talk about some of our, the ones that we have and the ones that we have given. Two that I'm going to show you first are the mini bands. And these are phenomenal when people are trying to work on their outer hips, get their glutes, engaged. And even if they're just doing some even light shoulder work, where you put this around your wrist, and you can do some different movements to try to get some activation in some of those smaller muscles. This is an example of a mini band. Again, this is by Perform Better, but they have yellow that is a little bit less. It's not as, I guess it's easier. I mean, when you think about resistance, so it goes yellow, then green, and then blue, and then black, and then and so these last a really long time. That's one of the reasons why I like this particular brand and company, because if you get some that are really, really cheap, they're going to break really quickly. And again, you don't want to leave these in your car. You don't want to have the sun hit them over time, because it will dry them out and break them fairly quickly. Another type of mini band that I love are the ones, and my clients really love this. So this is one of the more gift giving ideas that I use, are the ones that are cloth. And so with this, I mean, this one's actually a blue one. So it's a little harder, if you will, because they have different levels of resistance as well. But it doesn't seem to, especially in men that don't shave, sometimes when you put the rubber against their ankles or legs, they're complaining that it's pulling the hair off of their legs.
And it does. Yeah.
And this one's definitely more forgiving. You can throw them in your washing machine. So if you're actually, get really sweaty and gross, you can wash these over time. Or don't dry them, but you can definitely wash them. And I think these are a phenomenal gift. And, you can, get a few of them, put a bow around it with a nice card. And, it's something that my clients have loved. And I make sure, because I'm such a huge band person, especially with lateral tube walks, something they have to do with every one of their workouts. It's also something that they can do at home. It's easy to throw in their bag to travel with. Yep. I strongly, strongly love this type of band.
Yeah, no, that band, from a trainer's perspective, I put those in my pocket, and I can walk around and, take it out of my bucket, boom, throw this on, here we go, next exercise. But like you said, I mean, the bigger part, Wendy, is that it can go right next to other tools that you have. And you don't need, we're not talking about like some big old satchel you're going to throw over your shoulder when it comes to the equipment that you're going to use for your workout. It's really light and easy. And when it comes to home workouts or anything that you might do at home, especially over the last couple of years where we've resorted to a lot of home-based workouts, the bands or some kind of resistance tubing is going to be key. And a lot of your clients or friends that have workouts that want to travel, it travels really well. Or if you want to just change your environment, one of the things I tell my clients to do all the time is, go to the parks, go outside, do some, that exercise you mentioned earlier, that band walking, the lateral tube walking, go outside, get some vitamin D and, get a couple repetitions outside. And, another thing that we can do, Wendy, as far as bands go, and I think you've got one next to you maybe, but I have this version of a Stroops elastic band. It could be pretty cost effective. Again, our partners at Perform Better have these available on their website as well. So again, a hard plastic handle. Sometimes you won't have that hard plastic, but you'll have more of that Kevlar strap at the end. Sometimes they're just exposed rubber tubing. But this one, what I really love about this is that it's got this casing. So, one of the biggest fears I have about using these elastic tubes is that, like you said, Wendy, when they're exposed to sun, they get wet, they dry out over time. So one of the biggest fears us in the fitness industry have is when you're actually doing a really good workout and it's compromised and then it snaps on you. One of the beautiful things about this is that it's got a cover. So if anything happens to the elastic inside, right, you got this casing, it's not going to snap on you. So there's no worry or fear of having some repercussion of the band breaking, which unfortunately I've probably seen more than I wanted to see over my lifetime.
Well, and I have actually the example that doesn't have the casing. And so this is some tubing that I actually use in my home.
That's a great
I like
one.
this. Yeah, because this side, so you can see it's a double tube. You can actually put this in your door. And so that's my anchor. So I can actually, actually close the door and put it at any distance that I want. And then as you can see, it still has the same thing in the rubber handles. And so, I can just use one side. I can use both sides. So if I'm doing like a squat to row or some kind of, chest press or anything that I want, I can use two sides or one side. And so, and again, the difference, think about the actual type of tubing that you want, because the thicker the tube, the harder the resistance. So if you're new to purchasing some of this, you really want, that does matter. So, you want to look at the thickness of the tubing, because the thinner it is, the easier it will be to move. And so if you're really trying to do something that's heavy, you want it thicker. But if you're doing stuff for like the shoulders or someone that's new to working out, you're trying to help, provide them with tools that they can use at home. Just keep that in mind. Another type of quote tubing or band, this is what we call a super band. And so it's a complete, it's, all together. So as you can see, there's no handle. This is one that, for example, if I am doing some rows or doing some corrective work and I'm actually sitting down, I put my feet around this and I can row back, or I can stand up and I can do some pull aparts for my shoulders. Same thing. You can see that this one's actually thin. They come in very thick sizes as well. So you can do squats. You can do a lot of different things. I love the super bands. I'm a big fan. These are often used too to help people that are trying to learn to do pull-ups, because you can actually make, you can wrap it around like a bar that's above you, and you can actually put your body in these, and it kind of helps de-weight you as you're learning to pull yourself up. So super bands are great. The resistance like that Ken showed with the casing, without the casing, just whatever is going to be beneficial, but all very, very cost effective, unbelievable gifts. And if you want to try to, provide like a basket of stuff, maybe you put some of the mini tubes and some of these different tubing options in there. And, with obviously a nice card about, why you're giving this particular gift and being supportive, I think can go a long, long way.
A long, long way. Yeah.
Long,
so
long
with
way.
with that super band, I have I think it's a 3/4 inch thicker one that I use for assisted pull-ups, right?
Yeah.
So to your point, Wendy, knowing what you're going to do with it will influence, which type of band you're going to purchase. So, with the resistance band, I think you had the red one, which was a little bit more resistant, right?
Yeah.
And, sometimes it'll just migrate toward darker colors are the heavier ones, and then lighter colors tend to be the lighter ones. But from a purchasing standpoint, just read out, if it says heavy, medium, or light, because different companies that produce the same, quote unquote, same piece of equipment. One of the things we want to look at is, all right, the color schemes may not match. So blue being very resistant on one brand may be moderate to light on another one. So know who it's for. So if it's somebody who's lifting heavier resistance, or something that's going to be more home-based, kind of the lighter corrective exercise type of workouts, just know that, thicknesses, colors, you want to read into the packaging a little bit more, making sure that you have the right one.
Great points, Ken. Great points. Another one that I actually am going to be giving a client to, that's why I have it in a box, is, I am doing this because she does not have a ball at home, and I am providing a stability ball. And this one is going to be beneficial for her. It's an anti-burst. That's extremely important. You want to make sure that if your client is going to be doing something on a ball, that you get the ones that do say anti-burst. And what that means is, it doesn't mean that it's never going to pop, because over time with wear and tear, again, sun exposure, or just somebody rolling over something that sharp could pop it. This actually will, if something happens to it and it's going to go, it will slowly, it won't like just bust out in many pieces, especially if someone's doing something on the ball. It'll actually just deflate slowly to the ground. So therefore it's safer. And as you can see, even it says on the box, this is fantastic for bridges, fantastic for planks, and fantastic for sit-ups, as well as doing things like chest presses and rows and things, and you know, as creative as you want to get with the ball. So fantastic. It's very cost effective. It's fantastic for different types of things, you know, really focusing a lot on your core. So we talk about core stability being, you must be stable before you're strong. So you're really trying to help someone on their fitness journey. Again, it doesn't have to be trainer to client. We're talking about in general, some really good ideas, and listening to what people really want to do in their journey of fitness and what they need and lacking. I mean, you guys can provide so many unbelievable things. And I just feel that this is a very cost-effective gift. And I know she's going to be super, super excited about it.
Yeah. And I think to kind of put the stability ball, you know, in the same bucket as the bands and the tubing is the fact that those last few items have multiple purposes, right? They can be used, like you said, Wendy. You can use it for your core. It's a variation of push-up. You can put your hands on it. You can put your feet on it. But the more diverse and varied a piece of equipment, or a gift in this case, can be, means that there's more opportunity to use it. So whatever the dollar amount that you're spending, just know that over time it's going to be cents on the dollar when it comes to the amount of workouts or the amount of things that you can do with a gift. Because the one thing I hate is, you know, asking somebody that question. Is like, hey, how's that thing going for you that I got you? That's like, it's still in the closet, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, but if I give them multiple reasons that they can use it, then it's going to get more use, which means, okay, well, I didn't me as a gift giver, I didn't waste my money, or confirm the fact that, yeah, I'm not a really good gift giver. But you know,
my clients love all the stuff I give them. Just so
I know,
you know.
because you're very thoughtful, Wendy. I'm not as I don't have your thoughtfulness.
I listen.
Yeah, okay, that's
but
my
if
problem.
One thing, if you are going to purchase a ball, keep in mind there are different sizes as well. So this is a 55-inch. That would be someone, you know, she's 5'2". It's going to be a really good ball size for her. Obviously, the taller the client, they do make them in 65s and 75s, and then they also make a 45. For somebody that wants to do something like a ball exchange or something that's a little bit smaller. So keep in mind that there are different variations of size, and it usually just means, you know, how tall is your client and what's going to be beneficial for them. So there's weight limits on it. You want to check all that stuff out. But again, the most important thing is anti-pop, anti-burst, whatever it is going to be per company and however they say it. I think that's going to be a key thing to look for.
Yep.
So let me ask you, Ken, you know, we've talked a lot about products, okay?
Yeah.
But I often, especially with some of my newer clients, when I'm trying to get to know them a little bit more, or the client that has everything, a lot of times my clients have a full gym. They already have like the balls, and what things that happened with the pandemic, they purchased a bunch of this stuff already.
Yeah.
What are some, because I mean, I have some things that I've done with my clients last year as well as even this year that they loved, but sometimes we don't think about. So have you given any gifts that's not necessarily just like, here's a tool or a product, you know, what's some of the stuff you've given?
Yeah, I think, you know, again, what we try to do as trainers, try to kind of push our clients to do more of what they love, right? So because I do work with quite a few golfers, you know, golf balls, you know, golf ball, towel, markers, you know, so you know, when it comes to giving, I like to look at, okay, well, what can I give them that, you know what, it's going to save them time, you know, going to the store, going to the golf shop in this case, you know, save them time from doing that themselves. Well, a golf, you know, personalized golf ball, golf towel, ball markers, you know, a bag of golf tees. So, you know, these are just some things that, you know, they appreciate, not because it just feeds into what their hobby is, but for the most part, it also say, you know, it's time that they don't have to spend doing that. So if you've got a golfer, those are the easy things to do, but you know, feeding into that.
And I actually, with my golfers, have done the same thing. And there are companies out there, and it's not that expensive, but there's companies out there that says, you know what, we sell golf towels. Do you want to personalize it? And so I've done that. You know, I've picked different, you know, symbols that are on the towels, I put their nickname or their last name or first and last name. And then, when I'm actually, on the floor with them, or if I'm like talking to, like a friend of mine that loves to golf and I want to get them something, I will provide them with golf balls. But I say, hey, listen, I'm thinking about giving, a present, and I want to get some golf balls. Like, what do you use? What's a good brand? Because, even if you're like the golf, you know everything, ask and make it seem like you don't, because that way you can buy the brand of golf balls that they love and they're using. But one note, one of my clients, I put their first and last name on there, and I'm going to say, let's say it's Joe Smith, and I put like Joe Smith on it. And I thought I was being all creative because, again, instead of them having their mark on the ball so they know when they're playing against someone which ball is theirs, and that's one of the reasons we can put all this fun stuff on balls, is they said they don't like to use them when they're playing hard courses, because if they lose a ball, then when somebody finds it, their name's on it and they're embarrassed. I'm like, oh, good point. So highly recommend first name, last name, nickname, or something funny that they're going to really like if you are going to personalize the golf ball itself.
Oh man, that's a great one. That's a great idea. But you're just one step away. You put your phone number on there. Hey, Joe Smith. Yeah, you were way out of bounds on hole number 5. But I left your ball at the check-in counter. Yes. So actually, we're talking about fitness gift giving ideas with Wendy Batts and myself, Ken Miller, and we've gone through some pretty good ones, Wendy, as far as all that goes. But what else do you do for for that person? Like you said, that person has everything. What other ideas do you have that gives somebody a little bit more mindfulness towards their fitness and wellness?
Well, speaking of mindfulness, there are stuff like fitness journals, or just a journal that's, you can get some that are really nice bound. Some have leather covers if you want. Some can be, like you can actually get that personalized as well. But sometimes having a journal, especially if somebody really wants to track their calories, and what they're eating every single day, or they want to just actually write about their journey. People like to journal. And if they have the time and they sit down, it's kind of a reflection of their workout, the reflection of their day. And so basically almost like a diary in the fitness world. And sometimes when you provide that, you can say, hey, you can jot down the workouts that you loved or exercises that you loved that either we did, if it's one of my clients, that you can start to think about at home and write down the ones that you enjoyed. So therefore, if you need to work out at home and you want to do some stuff on your own, you have it written down, you knew that you liked it, and it's always at your disposal. And so I've had many people really love the journals, and sometimes along with the journal, I might get them like a personalized mug with like their initials on it, or if you own a company and you want to brand it with your company logo or something like that, you can. Or if it's a friend that really, like some of my tennis friends, we have obviously our tennis name. I put that on some of the mugs and gave them out last year, and they were super appreciative because we all had matching mugs with our own little names on it with the our team name. And it was actually a fun idea and something that they can use every day. So those are some of the other things I would recommend, that I think aren't just going to get thrown in the back of the closet, kitchen, pantry, whatever it is that.
Yeah.
Or the trash.
Now, and I'll say from a functional standpoint, I have a client that she journals, right? She journals, she writes everything down. I was like, how much weight did we use on this deadlift last time? And then she goes, wait, hold on, let me see. We warmed up with this weight, but then we worked up to this weight. So it gave me a good reference for what she did the week prior. So from a totally functional standpoint, those journals, it's not just a way to track and kind of, well, look, I went up 50 pounds, but from a workout to workout session, you could say, okay, you know what, I'm feeling good. Let's go up 10 more pounds than what we did last week. So having that as a functional tool, gives us a lot of opportunity to help them progress when it comes to their training sessions. So yeah, I think we've covered a lot here, Wendy. What do you think?
We have. Guys, there's so many different ideas and so many things out there, two that, we could probably spend a ton of time on, but I am going to mention because I think they're really good ideas, is One other thing would be maybe look into some fitness trackers for those of those, those people that want to learn to count their steps. Maybe, now some of these trackers can talk about your sleep and kind of help you get on a journey that's going to be a very positive one that's just personalized to you. Plus some of those bands, for example, if you have something like the Whoop, it's a band that, is very, a lot of people are buying these days. It's very popular, but you can set up teams. And so you can compete with people, you can actually support people. So that's one to look into as well, if that's something that you want to do. And maybe if you have a team of people, and all of you guys purchase your own, then it's actually a lot of fun, because I'm super competitive and I am going to walk more. I am going to do everything besides probably sleep more. So I lose that every single time. But so that's a good one. And then one other one that's just really quick before I kind of give you a recap of what we talked about, Ken, a big one is, guys, volunteer your time. Volunteer your time for your clients. If you have a client or a friend or a neighbor that works all the time, they have kids, they really don't make time for themselves, say, you know what, for Christmas, I'm going to give you the afternoon off. I'm taking your family and I'm going to keep them in my house, or I'm going to take them to the park. And I want you to have time for yourself, time to go for a walk, time to go and do something, because you know what, time is really important these days. And sometimes it's the little things like that that mean the most. And I really think, for me, that if somebody did that for me, I would be like, oh my gosh, can I hug you? So I just, it doesn't have to be about money, guys. It really doesn't, but it has to be the thought, and it has to be something that I think everybody has the time if they want to make it. And to me, that would be super, super impactful and a big one.
Yeah, no, I mean, ultimately that's what it's about, right? Spending time and giving somebody the time to do the things that they want. And that was actually one of the big ones that I like to put out there. So as far as donating my time to a client or their business, doing, let's say, a group class, or especially these days, a group Zoom class, giving it to them because I have some clients that own their own companies, and to offer it to their staff. So, thinking outside the box is very important when it comes to gift giving. Like you said, when you listen, what somebody wants or needs, or what they can benefit from. Then it's up to us to kind of figure out, okay, well, what's the best fit for this, and and then you look at budget, and hopefully that we've given our listeners today some ideas, because we're not telling you what to buy. We're hopefully just sparking some ideas on things you can think of outside of, okay, well, not everything has to be $300, right? Who has that? Right. Who has that? Right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and so just kind of recap, we've talked about different types of rollers that you guys could look into. Again, super, super beneficial. They come in all different sizes, all different densities, and all different shapes. So that's a fantastic idea. The half foam roller, it's really great for balance, something that can challenge someone that has been successful on the floor. You can also look into the different types of bands, the mini bands that are already pre-looped, or the different types of tubing. Again, make sure that you really think about the resistance. Some other things that we talked about, the super band, again, the longer types of resistance bands. We've talked a little bit about, possibly a stability ball, the different spheres, a volt, let's see, the journal. And then if you want to kind of do things that are hobby related, different types of mugs, personalized towels, the journal, the fitness tracker. And then the last thing, and I went to one of the things that's key to my heart, I know, time. So I think I covered everything, right? That was the quickest recap I think I've ever done, but did I miss something?
No, I think, you pretty much covered it. Again, overall, it's just, thinking about, okay, what the client needs, what are they most likely going to use as well as benefit from. And, one of the side benefits is, does it support your message as a personal trainer? Or if you're the support system for somebody, what is it that you can give somebody that they are definitely going to use based on what their goals to be. So I think this was a great topic for us to cover, especially timely. But overall, I mean, gift giving doesn't just have to be one time a year. If birthdays, holidays, anniversaries, all that good stuff. Hopefully this will carry over. So Wendy, thank you so much for sharing your insights and experience when it comes to your superpower of gift giving, which it's my kryptonite. I'll say that. So thank you again, everybody, every week that you listen to and tune into us. We really appreciate you. So if there's anything we can do to help with, anything you want to know or want to learn how you can benefit from or your fitness and wellness, well-being, like, follow, subscribe, comment, and we'll do what we can to deliver the quality information you're looking forward to. So until next time, everybody, take care and be well.